Good Sunday morning, one and all. It is January 5th, 2024, 9:15 a.m. This is our current conditions out here. Um, yeah, winter is back. It's the first sunlight that we've had in a couple of days now. Come on, work for me. Might be too cold out here for my camera to work properly, but I've dimmed down the lighting just so you can see off in the background here. Yeah, just before it got dark last night, uh, our permacloud blanketing up the sky was starting to break up, and there was just a little bit of light that was starting to come through. This morning we were greeted with nice orange coloration. This is what we've got currently, and I want to speak real quick on, well, I'm going to make a couple of connections real quick. And first and foremost, let's go to New Jersey and the drone situation that is where this whole issue originated, kicked off. And then after, these drones, this mysterious fog worldwide. Okay, now I want you to understand something about New Jersey. New Jersey is where the billing documents for spraying the skies, okay, were released. And it was from there that certain states within the United States began to ban, air activity, which creates what you're seeing here, okay? I don't know what we're seeing here. In fact, all these right now look like they were past streamers. And okay, and I want you to understand, people, that I have been exposing myself to everything that has been falling from the sky over, the years that I have been recording the activities overhead, okay? And it's all connected. Chemtrailing, the drones, the UFOs slash UAPs, okay? They are all connected. And, you can go back. Well, let's just put it this way. Since the dawn of time, mankind has been observing these objects or phenomenons that fly across the sky. For thousands of years, they have been reported in cave paintings, other paintings, uh, hieroglyphics. It's nothing new, people. In the stories of ancient Sumeria, the Sumerian texts and all that, it talks about the gods and how they came from outer space, and yet people still want to go on about NASA and the fakery and all that. There's two sides to every story, and people, you have to actually go inside of the coin rather than the obverse or reverse of the coin. Okay? Because after all, to understand what the coin is initially, beyond the stamping, you have to understand what the coin is made of. And, and you can only see that by, going inside. And that's the main message, is to go inside of yourselves. Go with what feels right, okay? Because that's what I do through my intuitions and whatnot. I go according to, the information that comes to me. Not that I go out searching for. I'm not proving this time and time again on my channel. Okay, so we go from, these UFOs that's been reported for centuries. Okay, and the gods. And and then, of course, they don't want to let us forget certain things, such as Roswell, Area 51, just over and over and over repetitively. Okay, we go to this platform and think about this. Everything that they tell you that you cannot talk about, that they try to censor you from speaking on, and so on and so forth. Well, there's a reason behind that. It's because they're part of the cover-up. Okay? And be very aware of this. Everybody was talking about politics and Trump, and they're trying to block Trump and this and that and everything else. Well, any political video that you see out there, below the video, of course, you got Associated Press and their acknowledgement over Trump being president. Okay, right there. Think about that. Read into that. So we go, from these gods and UFOs, and once again, with the oldest stories in the world, it talks about these beings that come from outer space and come here. Okay, and we basically have the same story in your Bibles, regardless of the Bible that you read. Basically, you have that same story. It's just, worded and phrased differently. Okay. But then, the outer space narrative kind of gets watered down, and you go to your ancient tribes, and the tribes even today, and they still speak of the gods not coming from outer space, but where? From the clouds. The clouds. And then you go into religion, and it's always about the clouds, the clouds. Okay, so once again, there's certain narratives that they don't want us to forget, such as what has been coming out here recently once again, and that's old Eisenhower and the meeting with the alien beings and whatnot. Maybe, the weather has always been controlled. But the reins were handed over when man reached a certain point of intelligence, and through that intelligence, the world's worst weapons came about. People, it's going to be a couple more years before we really see any kind of nuclear warfare or these Armageddon missiles and all that. No, it has been weather warfare that has been going on. Okay, look at all the flooding over the last few years that occurred with China. Okay, it's all weather warfare. Okay, direct energy weapons. That is how Donald Trump walked into North Korea. Is because, if you remember, before that happened, what took place in North Korea that was reported on? Oh, a major avalanche that came down on one of their missile bases. One of their main missile bases. How did that happen? Yeah, direct energy weapons. The power of God was unleashed onto North Korea, and that is what brought them to the talking table with Donald Trump. Think about it. Why is it? What is the number one topic? And always has been. The weather. Right? When you're watching mainstream media, such as like Good Morning America, or whatever, and they have the crawl at the bottom, which is your headline news and written format, if you will, the banner at the bottom. That disappears when they go to the weather. And the same with local channels that do the crawl as well. They bring up their weather segment. Boom, all focus on the weather. Hmm, right? Okay, well, my storage space is like running very low. So I'm going to cut this short. But I want you to know, people, there is connections. And if you want to know those connections, you got to understand that part of those connections are all those topics that you're not allowed to talk about here on this platform. Unless, of course, you decide to censor yourself and edit, your content to be compliant because you're monetized. Well, I'm not monetized, and and YouTube has been against me ever since I first started recording the skies and putting my little narratives out there. And gee, this little conspiracist, factualist has been on the money right along. And yeah, I might be tooting my horn a little bit. Oh, here we go. Okay, so as we're out here, boom. Once again, when this comes out, and and I just don't care what anybody says regarding trails, streamers. My proof is in the pudding and what I share and what I show, because after all, they're putting on the show for me, and all I'm doing is sharing their show. And that's why on my playlist I have such titles as The Big Show, and once again, I'm just rambling on because I just don't care. This is just nonsense, and let it be known, people. My anniversary, my YouTube anniversary is coming up in a couple of days. 8 years. Yeah, 8 years of them trying to silence me, shadow ban me. Why? Because I show reality. I speak reality. That's why and oh yeah, um, get away from fake book, people. Um, yeah, old Zuckerberg, he just come out and said, hey, you're going to be dealing with a lot of artificial people now. Yeah, they're going AI hardcore, just like this platform. There's so many channels out there now that are fake channels that's set up through artificial intelligence. That's commenting, posting comments and whatnot. I'm not getting any comments now, so I don't care. Yeah, I'm still in the fight. Yeah, okay, so now I'm hearing that guy that just passed over. So, all this fog and the chemtrailing and all that, well, if you think about it, maybe it's China's way of getting back at the United States, because it's the United States that's been, chemtrailing everywhere, including over their heads. And why do I say this? Well, because of the factor that one of my most spectacular sightings was what I coined as a con bow. And the only other one that I have seen, such as what I showed, was taken from China. Not too long after I showed mine. Yeah. Weather warfare, people. And thing is why can't they come out with UFO disclosure? Is because they would have to come out with everything pertaining to why they are spraying the skies, because it's connected to that. And that is why New Jersey had all the drones. Oh, they want to talk about military installations and whatnot. Well, yeah. Who do you think is, doing this stuff? Mm-hmm. Or at least they're involved. You know that. But anyways, I've got my right hand going numb. It is bitterly cold out here, even though we have this out. We are like at the coldest temperatures right now that, you know, we've experienced this season. And this is not going to help matters at all. Because after all, we don't have the clouds to lock in the heat. All right, I'm gonna cut this off, and just read between the lines, people. I've been rambling. I've got just too much going through my head. I mean, I'm really wanting to rant hardcore, but when I do that, I tend to go overboard, and yeah, I have to keep my verbology clean, if you will, because I do get a little bit too adamant, get that tone in my voice and whatnot. But anyways, yeah. So if you can read between the lines of what I've spoken on, it's all connected, and that is why they can't come out with explaining UFOs, is because they would have to explain way, way too much, and there's too many corporations involved, and national security and all that. Well, if it's global, I think it goes beyond just national security. Look at that trail. Yeah. Oh, another one? Yep. Boy, another one now. See, I come out and they just start appearing. Oh, and they're going to make a big X. That is what's happening right now. They are getting ready to make that great big giant X. I don't know if this is picking anything up or not. All right. Yeah, that's good enough. Yep. There, I proved my point. Oh, and by the way, before all the drones hit Jersey and whatnot, I had my own personal experience just days before, to where they came right over my head, and it was quite the experience. But at that point in time, I was pretty upset, and I was not planning on recording anymore, posting any more content, and it was an awesome sighting. But I can't prove that, so. And I'm not even going to ask you to take my word for it, because I really don't care. It's just, I have these things happen. But yeah, way down yonder, that's going to connect and to be in a large X. Okay, my hand is like froze. I can barely operate my fingers now. So take care, one and all. Take care of each other. And maybe we'll see you once again back here on this flip side. Ciao.